Alright, introduction to Power BI. Okay, introduction to Power BI. So let's start with the definition. So today I should be able to cover these topics, which means that our next class will be more practical. So what I'm trying to do today is to establish the theoretical aspect of this program. And as we all know, this is the last program. After this, I'll see you guys in the project's defense hall. Hopefully by the end of this month, the last week. So for those of you that have already approved your data and we have covered the programs you are appointed to use, then you can start your work. Okay, so let's start with the definition. Power BI in brackets, just to get the full meaning first. Power BI in the brackets, which means Power Business Intelligence. That is the full meaning of words. Power BI, Power Business Intelligence. Power Business Intelligence. So by definition, Power BI is a data visualization, and by definition, Power BI is a data visualization and business intelligence tool. I repeat, Power BI is a data visualization and business intelligence tool that converts data from different data sources. That converts data from different data sources to an interactive dashboard. So an interactive dashboard and business intelligence reports and business intelligence and business intelligence reports. So that is the simple way we can define what? Power BI. In addition, right, Power BI is an application developed by Microsoft Office. So the same person that Microsoft Excel, the same person that composed this program. That is the reason why this program is not actually far from Excel, particularly the concepts of pivot table. So here we are not writing function. It's simply drag and drop. We get our results just like the way we did it in pivot table. We're just dragging header and dropping them in different panel, and then we're getting our result. So for someone who is already grounded on Excel, this is just like an extension of it. This is just like a more AI oriented Excel. This one has more AI than Excel. That is why it's called Power Business Intelligence. So Microsoft Office actually developed this for business analytics. That is why you are hearing business there. So the purpose is more towards analyzing or visualizing business data. Now let's quickly look at some of the advantages of Power BI so that you know why you should choose it over the other tools. Right, advantages of Power BI. So one of the advantage is interactive personalized dashboard and reports. The first advantage is that it offers us interactive personalized dashboards and reports. So let me just explain that statement for a few minutes so you understand one of the difference between this and Excel. Now, if you remember, we are able to create an interactive dashboard also in Excel using pivot table with the help of slicer and timeline. I know some of you have not touched those things, but the kind of interactivity or the kind of dashboard you can create with Power BI cannot, the one in Excel cannot be compared with that one at all. This was a more advanced, this was a more professional, more standard. So one of the area of its strengths is ability to visualize data. And what is data visualization? From the background I've given to us from other programs, simply means graphing, right? Modeling your data or your report with graphical tools like pie charts and other form of charts. So when it comes to graph or plotting of graph or data visualization, as far as I know, Power BI is the best. Now, why I'm saying this is this. If, for example, you are given data to analyze and you are considering which one of these 4 tools that I've learned should be the best tool to use. Now, I just told you the strengths, the advantage of choosing Power BI. Why? One is because it can be used to create personalized or interactive personalized dashboard and reports. What is a dashboard? I think I will have explained that from other programs. I told us then that a dashboard is like an interface where you have multiple reports, and these reports, they are connected such that you now have a regulating system
just like what we achieved with a slicer. You know, at the end of creating all the reports, and after creating the slicer, what was the next thing we did? We connected that slicer to what? Other what? Reports. Meaning that we want that slicer to be a technology that can be used to what? To manipulate all the what? The report what? Models. So that kind of concept, that is one of the area this particular program specializes on. Now let's continue with what? The advantage. I've only mentioned one. The second advantage of Power BI is a real-time information. Real-time information. Real-time information. What does that mean? That is what you can use it to get what? Immediate what? Reports. You don't need to, when we say real-time, means that
You are not suspending immediately. That is why we use the word real-time there. Immediately.
so you get the information what?
When needed.
And the good thing about it is that if you, for example now, call data, so this is one of the best way I can explain the real time I'm talking about. Let's assume that you call Yagon data from desktop, and they have not concluded what? The computation of that data. They are still adding more. In as much they are adding more data, either from Excel, where it was generated, the dashboard that you created in Power BI will automatically what? Update. So once the source file or the source data is updated, it also what? Update what? Your dashboard. So that is one of the beauty of it, real-time what? Information. Then the third advantage is integration with wide array of data sources. Integration. Of wide array of data. Sources. So what does this mean? What it means is that, you see, in the case of other programs like Excel and Python, SQL, those ones cannot actually what? They don't have multiple what? Data what? Gateways. With Power BI,
You can connect to almost unlimited what? Data what? Sources.
provided you have the privilege.
You have the login detail. That is what we are saying. Are you with me?
You can have data. You can have data stored in your website. With Power BI, you can what? Analyze data. You can connect Power BI to that website.
Listen, when we did SQL the other time, I told you that you either export the data from the what? The database, or you do what? You analyze directly in that what? Database query what? Interface, right?
What we are saying is that we can connect this to a website. We don't need to go to the website.
I'm using it now.
Once you, and teacher has said, I don't like giving it to
Multiple, because it's original. I don't want it to spoil.
now. Once you connect this to your website, it will what? Get data directly what? You can analyze data live from your what? Website without you going to the database from here. So that is one of the advantages about integration. That is what it allows us to connect to what? Multiple what? Source of what? Data. That is one of its advantages compared to other ones. Number 4. Excel integration without comparison. Number 4 advantage, Excel was integration without comparison. I just told us not long now that what is an extension of what? Excel, and the same person that wrote what? Excel, that composed what? This software. Meaning that there is a kind of good relationship. If you develop an app as a programmer, let's say you develop 2 different apps, one way or the other, since you are the same person, your programming system will be supported. That's the reason why Power BI does not have any issue relating with what? Excel. Number 6, costs, or 5, cost saving. You said cost. Cost saving. Number 6, frequent and consistent updates. I think I've mentioned that before. As you are imputing new record, is automatically what? Updating. Frequent and consistent updates of reports. So the 7th advantage is added functionality with other Microsoft apps. Added functionality with other what? Microsoft what? Apps. Added what? Functionality with other Microsoft apps. So that is self-explained. Number 8, which is the last one, the power of modern AI system at hand. So there are a lot of AI from the name. From the name, you don't need anyone to tell you that what there are a lot of what AI features in this app. From the name, power what? Business intelligence. I say what? The power of modern AI system at hand. Okay, so with the definition and the advantages, now I believe you understand what Power BI and why you should consider knowing it as one of the best applications for data what? Visualization. Now let's quickly look at this. The second topic, the first topic, which is what Power BI was. Before that, let's look at Power BI versions. Before we go into that, let's talk about Power BI versions, so that you know the version we are learning with and the version you might be employed to work with. There are 2 versions of Power BI. There is one that an individual cannot what? Buy or obtain, except you register as a company with not less than a number of what? Employee. But this very one that we have here is an open source. It's free. You don't pay for this one, but you pay for the other one heavily. That's the reason why I just want to also understand the version, so that you know. So any company that will engage you, probably that will employ you remotely to work to analyze data using Power BI, they must have purchased that Power BI version. And then they will just create what? Login what? Detail. Or give you an account. And the way it works is that, listen, if you are looking for a remote job, this is one of the applications you must learn. Because if you are going to be working from maybe Nigeria here, and the company is in UK, I can tell you, they will send you the data. They will have all the data loaded into what? Their what? Power BI account. Then what they will do is that it will give you login what? Access. So you are not going to bother yourself with, sorting out what? Data. The data, you are going to meet the data there. Then, and whatever you are analyzing on those data, they are seeing it direct, not at the end of the day. So they can log into the dashboard and also what? See what? Your analysis. But can you do that with Excel? You can't do that with Excel. It means that the company will have to do what? Sell you the data. And then for them to see your reports, you have to compile it and then send to them. It's not real time again. It's not real time. But they wanted is you are analyzing from wherever you are. They are monitoring what is going on. Have you ever watched this stock exchange news on channel or other station when they are analyzing the market? Is always what? Real. Not that somebody will come later. You will see the metrics what? You see the graph, you see the trending. For those that are into trading. Now, there is now an indicator that you have to, that will help you to monitoring the market. All these things are invention of what? AI, trying to assist in that area. Those days, you have to be the one to put your eye on the computer monitoring when to invest. But now there are indicators now that can be, monitoring the market on your behalf. When it's time to invest, you invest. So I said I want us to talk about what Power BI was version. Right. There are two versions of Power BI. Number one is Power BI Desktop. Number one is what? Power BI Desktop. Then number two is Power BI Service. Power BI what? Service. So just for you to understand the difference between Power BI what? Desktop and Power BI what? Service. When you are downloading, what did you type? Power BI what? Desktop. So you know why now. Desktop now. Note, the Power BI Desktop is an open source version. Power BI Desktop is an open source version created for learners. So for those of us that are learning it, you have to download which version? The desktop. That one is actually created for you so that you learn it. And the way the both interface are the same. Only that one is free, the other one you have to what? Buy. So they believe that once you have learned with the free version, of course the interface structure are the same. So if they employ you tomorrow and give you Power BI service to work with, which should be expected. You don't expect a company that have the money, that value their data, that have their data stored in cloud. Because that service, you are going to pay Microsoft like cloud storage. They are going to create an account for you. And that account, they will give you a quota that you can upload all your company what? Data. So whenever you hire a data analyst, you give the person what? Access. So it's no longer the person what? Responsibility to begin to what? Look out for the data. Just like cloud storage. So most of the software today, they are advancing from local storage to what? Cloud storage. Which means that if it is cloud storage, I don't need to install it the way we don't need the installation. They will just give us what? An account, the way you operate your email. Once you log in, you have a place where you click add data. You store your data there based on the space you purchase. I don't know if you are getting me. So this very one is what? The free version that is created for you and I to do what? To test it or to have the experience. Try on your own. Try downloading that Power BI service. Just type instead of download Power BI desktop. Type what? Download what? Power BI what? Service. You will see that once you calculate the form, they will ask you how many employees do you have? How many workers? So what it means is that they are not actually targeting individual to pay for it. An individual that is paying for it because the payment is going to be much. That will be an individual that is representing what? The company. So let's just explain it a little bit. I've mentioned the two of them, right? The Power BI was, and I've described the Power BI was desktop, right? Now, right, the Power BI continuation, just don't worry. I want to give you another summary of it. The Power BI desktop is deployed in your system. The Power BI desktop is deployed in your system. Like I just mean what you install it in your own computer. Whereas service is deployed on the cloud, like I've mentioned before, just like a web or the procedure. So you install the what? The desktop on your system, and then the cloud. I said whereas Power BI service or services is deployed on the what? The cloud. Then notes, data sharing and collaboration. Notes, data sharing and collaboration is available in Power BI service, which we don't have in what? Power BI what? Desktop. We can't share data. For example, now, I think I've explained that. The company using it in London cannot share data, cannot give you that access if he or she is running what? Power BI what? Desktop. So meaning that what? There is no central what? Data system. Everybody have to work locally from their what? System. And that is for the what? Power BI what? Desktop. Power BI services contain more settings and features for sharing and gateway. I said what? Power BI what? Service contain more settings and features for sharing data gateway. Good. For sharing data gateway. So all these are still within what I have explained before. Now, let's quickly look at the Power BI interface, which is the last topic for today. Power BI what? Interface stroke components. So we are going to be identifying them. So I want to ensure that I get to where our next class will just be strictly practical. So everything that has to do with the theory aspect of it, let's see how we can cover all. Right, there are 7 to 8 Power BI key components. There are 7 to 8 Power BI key components. There are 7 to 8 Power BI key components. So all these things I mentioned we can do with Power BI, they are actually summarized in what? Somewhat key what? Components. And what are the key components? Number one, we have Power Query. So let's list them. I'm going to explain them briefly. We have Power Pivots. We have Power View. We have Power Map. We have Power Q and A. We have power. These are actually the main one. We have power website. And then we have power mobile app. Power mobile app. All these are what? Key components of what? So let me identify them. Look up here. Can you see this icon? If I click on it, that is what? Mobile view of my report. Then if I switch from this to this what? My laptop what? View. So this is what my what? Mobile app. Now let me start from the top. Let's take the one after the other. Somebody, Power Query. Let's understand what is Power Query as one of the key components in Power BI. The Power Query is one of the important components of Power BI. The Power Query is one of the important components of Power BI. This can be included in your Excel. So this Power Query we're talking about, you can include it in what? Excel. I said this can be included in your Excel or can be used as a component of the Power BI desktop or can be used as a component of Power BI desktop. So let's look at some things you can do with this word component called Power Query. The notes under this option. Using Power Query, you can 1. Delete data from a wide range of different databases. I say notes. Using Power Query, you can delete data from a wide range of different databases. I said using Power Query, you can delete data from a wide range of different what? Database. Like Oracle. SQL, Server, MySQL, and etc. I have mentioned it before that with the help of this, one of the advantages, if you remember, if we go back to the advantages, I said what? With Power BI, we have access to what? Multiple what? Data what? Sources. So what is going to give us access to this what? Data sources is what? The Power Query component. I don't know if you understand what I just said now. When we're talking about the advantages, I said one of its advantages is that we have access to what? Multiple what? Data gateway. We can call data from different what? Channels. So what is going to give us access? What is going to help us to, what? To reach out to those data is one of the components called what? Power what? Query. To delete is still the one. Because the word query in database management, I have explained before that what it means what? Taxing. Asking, like I said, now remember how we constructed those words? Query functions. When we used to calculate total price and this and that. Alright? So now let's look at the next component, which is what? Power what? Pivots. Power pivots. Power Pivot is a data modeling and calculation engine. Power Pivot is a data modeling and calculation engine. Now, as data analysts, the word data modeling, what does it mean? Hello? If somebody asks you now, what is the meaning of what? Data modeling. The reports, the manipulate what? The construction. To model means what? To construct or to create. Those reports that you generated with different what? Pivot table in Excel. They are what? Data what? Models. So what we are saying is that the component that is responsible for generating reports in Power BI is what? Power what? Pivot. So you can see that, hello, pivot table. You can see where we are. So that's why I told you from the beginning that the way this works is that same concept we are going to be applying of the techniques we use in Excel what? Pivot table here. Because in Excel pivot table, what we did, we are just simply what? Dragging and what? Dropping. And then our reports, we are just what? Generated. Without us writing what? Functions. So that same concept is applicable here. In fact, that one is like chart play. The more advanced of it is Power BI. I said it is used for modeling what? I don't know if I have explained that. I stop at what? Calculation what? Engine, right? Then full stop paragraph. It is used for modeling simple and complex what? Data. We are still talking about Power Pivots. I said it is used for modeling what? Simple and complex data. Full stop. In Power Pivots, additional note, in Power Pivots, you can set or create relationship. You can set or create relationships between different tables. Between what? Different tables. Between what? Different what? Tables. And calculate value that can be viewed in pivot table. And calculate value that can be viewed in pivot tables. Now, there is a language, there is a data language that does that for you in Power BI. And what is that language? DAS. I'm going to talk about it in a moment. All this data modeling and the calculations, the language that is giving us access to the function that are doing those calculations is called what? DAS. So note, the language used by Power BI, because at times we want to know which language, which programming language is using to what? To model, to generate those automatic what? Reports. Note, the language used by Power BI pivots is data analysis expression. That is the full meaning of what? In brackets you write DAS. Data analysis expression. In brackets you write DAS. So if you are asked, the language used by Power BI pivots is data analysis expression. Is data analysis expression. In brackets you write what? DAS. which is a strongly functional language. Which is a strongly functional language. And all your calculations are done here. And all your calculations are what? Done here. Hello? Yeah, on. Actually. Can't go that way. Who's good? Who? Who? Okay. What happened? You want to wait? Okay. No, I don't. Okay. Okay, so I was saying something before, right? So which is the strongly what functional what language, and all your calculations are done here. So that's all the calculation you are or you definitely perform in what this program.
They are performed through the help of that what language called what that's.
All right. So let's look at what power what view. Power view. Power view. Power view. Power view is the fundamental data visualization component of Power BI. Power view is the fundamental data visualization component of Power BI. Power view is the fundamental data visualization component of Power BI. It is an interactive component. It is an interactive component that connects to data source. Please, just for today. I said what? It is what? An interactive what? Component that connects to data sources and retrieves metadata. That is the headings. All the important information, all the information about data. And receive what? Meta what? Data. Let me follow you. It is an interactive component that connects to data what? Sources and retrieves metadata. Metadata that can be utilized for data analysis. That can be utilized for data analysis. That can be utilized for data what? Analysis. So this component has a lot of what? Features like we have mentioned. So what actually gives that interactivity is within what? This what? Component. What are the key things there, or what is the key function of this component? One is what? Connect to what? Data what? And two is what? To retrieve. And then three is what? Metadata that can be what? To retrieve metadata that can be utilized for data analysis. So it's very what? An important component. So as far as I'm concerned, from what we have discussed so far, the two most powerful components are what? From what we have discussed so far. Power what? Pivot, right? We look at the number of things we apply there. And then followed by what? Power what? View. Now let's take the next one, power map. Power map. Power map. Power map is used to visualize geospatial data. Geospatial data. Geospatial data. In 3D model or 3D mode. In 3D mode. In 3D what? Mode. In 3D mode. That is based on geographical location. That is based on geographical location. Comma, the data can be highlighted. Graphic. Data can be highlighted geographical or geographically. Good. Data can be highlighted geographically. Now, if you have watched during that election time, like channel station, when this guy that analyzes data for channel, Jide, you know, if you observe very well, there was a map showing all the states in Nigeria. So when he's talking about votes gotten by a party from a particular state, you will just click on maybe Delta space. Once you select Delta, it will just bring out what? Only what? Votes, vote casted, registered votes, and all the analysis about what? The voting. Then when it's done talking about that, you will click on what? Another area within the map. Maybe it could be Jigawa. Then to bring out what? So that is what the interactivity we're talking about. That's mapping. So in the place of that slicer, let me use that because that is only what you understand now. You know, slicer then, if for example now you slice by states, you know, to list out all the what? The states. Then when you click on a particular state, what happens? The model, the report model, will give you information about what? That selected what? State. So the same way we have it in Power BI what? Map. So we can use map as a slicer to be slicing through the what? The data. So this is very important. Let's look at the next one. Power BI what? Q&A, which means what? Question and what? Answer. I love this feature. I love this feature. This feature actually confirms that what? This program is an AI. Do you know that I can just, like those kind of questions you ask in Excel, summarize gross income per city, right? You know, you now start, if it is pivot table, let's say in Excel now, let me not go to all those manual things we're doing. If it is pivot table, what will you do? You just drag what? City head or heading somewhere, right? Drag the what? The gross income in another what? Column, and then you get your report. But do you know that this one, I will just type the question as in question. What is the total gross income? Like question when you use Google. What is the total revenue from, before you finish typing, the answer is showing. Provided that question is related to what? To your data set. Ask any question. What is the gross income of Yangon and Mandalay? Before you finish having pound, so it's faster, it's real time. You can see the idea. It's just like there is a Google search engine. So that is the power of what? Q and what? The A. All these are the key components. All these things that I'm explaining now, those of you that are here, when we start the practical, you'll be confirming them. Okay, what I'm doing right now is power what? View. Right now is power what? Pivot. Now let's define it. Power BI is an ordinary power Q and A. That is where I am now. Okay, good. Power Q. No. the question, the topic is what? Power Q and A. Then the explanation now. Power BI is an ordinary language module or module. Ordinary what? Language what? Module for your data models, questions and answers. Power BI is an ordinary what? Language motor for your data, for your what? Data models, questions and what? Answer. Note, after assembling your data model and updating it on Power BI website, note, after assembling your data model and updating it on Power BI website, command, users can ask questions. Users can ask questions and receive real-time answers. I repeat, after assembling your data model and updating it on Power BI website, your users can ask questions and receive real-time answers. Users can ask questions and receive what? Real-time what? Answers. So let me just go straight to what? Power BI what? Website, and then we end it there for today. Like I said, today is just what? To give us the theoretical what? Background. Then the next class I will start with explaining the interface, loading data here, then start doing some analysis. So let's round up with this. Power BI website quickly. The solution of Power BI website is that you can create dashboard. Alright, so lastly, I want to draw a table of 1, 2, 3 columns just to differentiate them. So one side, the first column, label it, what you write as the heading before this table is what? Power BI versus Excel. So what we are trying to explain here is to cite some differences between what? Power BI and what? Excel. So using this table, you write nothing here, and then here you write Excel. Please make sure you get this talk because I will not be writing on the board, I will not be dictating. So let's start on here, the first column, right? In terms of dashboard, we want to compare the capacity of what? Power BI and what? Excel in terms of dashboard. So you write under Excel. Users have limited options for designing dashboard in Excel in terms of, so we are comparing them now in terms of what? Dashboard now. Because both of them can actually what? Create what? An interactive what? Dashboard. So we want to know which one does better. So in terms of dashboard, you write users have options for designing dashboard in Excel. Now you are writing what I'm saying here now. Users has what? Or user have limited what? Option for designing what? Dashboard. Then in Power BI, more enhanced tools for designing personalized dashboard. In Power BI, more enhanced tools for designing personalized dashboard. So you can see there is a limitation here. That is what? We are short of what? Tools. But here we have more. Then, in terms of connectivity, now, we are comparing them in terms of what? Connectivity. So let's start with the Excel also. This is where you should be now. Connectivity with other application and system is limited. That is under Excel. Let's be fast. Connectivity with other applications and system is what? Limited. So you don't have that privilege. Then under Power BI, you're right. Data can be extracted from practically any platform, like I have said before. Data can be extracted from practically any platform, software or applications. All you need is to have access. Once you have that access, Power BI will give you access to what? Almost all the what? Data gateway. Then in terms of big data handling, in terms of what? Big data handling. Under Excel, it can handle a limited amount of data. We also saw it in Excel now. A single sheet could not absorb more than what? 1,048,576. That's the limit. So that is one of the what? In terms of handling big data, you can't compare Power BI with what? Excel. Excel is limited. Now, under Power BI, right, it allows you to process significantly bigger data sets. We did not say that all. That is where Python is now more than that. Python is what? Unlimited. I said what? It allows you to process significantly bigger data sets. That is Power BI now. So, though Excel, look at this here, though it processes what? More data than Excel, but not unlimited. But at least, I said it allows you to process significantly what? Bigger data sets. Then the last one, in terms of report modeling. Let's compare Excel and what? Power BI. In terms of what? Report modeling. Under Excel, reports are simpler and less attractive. Under Excel, in terms of report modeling. Under Excel, reports are simpler and what? Less attractive. Reports are what? Simpler and what? Less what? Attractive. Then, under Power BI, reports are more attractive, individualized, appealing, and engaging. Under Power BI, reports are more attractive, individualized, appealing, and engaging. And what? Engaging. So with these differences that I've mentioned, now you know that what? Excel is not his mate. Almost in all the comparison, there is no place where we said Excel does better. Any question? So our next topic, just to write it down, I will know where to start from in our next meeting. We are going to look at Power BI loading and interface explanation. Power BI loading and interface explanation. And then, if the time permits us, definitely we will do that. We will look at how to load or how to create data sets here. You can decide to, just like the way you use Excel, you can create your data here, or you import them, or you load them into what? The dashboard. Please, I would advise us not to miss that class. Missing that class is more expensive than missing this one. Do you know why? Because this one is theory. You can read. And I deliberately stop here so that just to draw their ear. I don't want them to miss everything. If not, ordinarily, this is not where I normally stop for the first class. So at least when they call you today, now how far? Did you learn anything? Yes. So maybe that is the reason why they are not coming. Because each time they call you, or each time they chat you, how far? Anything? Say no, not anything. So he's now feeling concerned that, let me not go today because the last time I called. I mean, they call you today now. You tell them that you ask something, maybe they will not call on Monday. And you too should not be the one to absent on Monday. Okay. So continue working on your projects. Bring your data for approval. Please, it's very important too.